Kristen Holritz, principal flute at the Chattanooga Symphony and Opera. Well, I started playing the flute when I was 8 years old, and I wouldn't really say that I chose to play the flute per se. I just wanted to play an instrument, a new instrument. I began piano lessons when I was 4 years old with my mom, who's a piano teacher, and I have two older brothers who also were playing piano. When they got into middle school, they were getting to learn new instruments, and I was a little jealous, and I wanted to learn one too. So I shared this idea with my mom, and she happened to have her old flute from high school in her closet. So she told me that if I could get a sound out on the head joint, that she would buy me the beginning book to flute and that I would be able to learn. So I worked for a week, I got a noise on the head joint, and then a few months later I got private lessons with a teacher, and the rest is history. As a principal flute, I feel like you have many roles. You are there to be leading the flute section, but you're also playing with them too. So it's kind of a give and take. Sometimes you're leading and then sometimes you're blending with them. In the same way, you're the leader of the wind section because your instrument is in view of the rest of the wind section, but you kind of co-lead it with the oboist. So again, a give and take of leading and then also collaborating with your fellow musicians. I would say my favorite performance memories always have to be when I'm sitting in the orchestra. The first time that I really felt drawn to orchestral music was in high school. I had gotten into the Texas All-State Symphony Orchestra my sophomore year, and we were playing Daphnis and Chloe, and it was just such a beautiful piece. I wasn't sitting principal, I was fourth flute, so I didn't have any solos or anything exposed, but I just really enjoyed the colors and sitting in the middle of that stage and being surrounded by beautiful music and just phenomenal musicians. So I just really like the feeling of being a part of a whole. I'm originally from Texas, the Austin area, and I did my undergrad in North Carolina at North Carolina School of the Arts, and I went from there to New York to do my master's at Juilliard, which was awesome. It was so cool to be in New York, a big city. And then I moved from there. I got married as soon as I finished my master's, and my husband plays violin, and he was starting his doctorate at University of Georgia. So we moved to Athens. I took a year off from school to take auditions and spend time practicing, and that's actually where I started sewing, is because I got a part-time job working at Hancock Fabrics, and I had moved out to Athens with my grandmother's sewing machine, and so I figured it would help me to help customers if I learned how to sew. So I took a couple of the remnants and scraps home and taught myself how to sew. And so I took a year off, and then I also started a doctorate at University of Georgia. I would say that if you want to learn the flute, I would encourage you to get a private teacher and take weekly lessons, because there's just so much information that they have that you couldn't even think of, challenges that they had to overcome, difficulties, and steering you away from bad habits right from the start so that you don't have to go back and undo them years later, which takes 5 times longer to undo the bad habit than it took to get it. The Tremont Tavern has really delicious burgers, so I've been there twice already. And just the walking bridge, the scenery is just so gorgeous here, and I love just walking around and seeing what's out there to see. I invite you to join us this season to help inspire, engage, and enrich the Chattanooga community. For more information, please visit www.chattanoogasymphony.org for more information about me, the CSO, and our upcoming concerts.